Hello. Welcome to day 6 of the 31 days of Halloween. 31 scary/spooky stories in 31 days. Today's story is entitled The Harvest Festival. Harvestville's festive tradition conceals a sinister secret. Join Evan and Sarah in a chilling unraveling. And now, without further ado, let's get this show started. Also, just to be transparent, these 31 stories in 31 days are only possible because of AI, with my human involvement overseeing it.
Chapter 1, The Festival. It was the night of October 31st, and the town of Harvestville was buzzing with excitement. The Harvest Festival was the most anticipated event of the year, a celebration of the bounty of the land and the hard work of the farmers. The town square was decorated with colorful lanterns, pumpkins, scarecrows, and cornstalks. The smell of apple cider, roasted corn, and pumpkin pie filled the air. Children ran around in costumes, playing games and collecting candy. Adults mingled and danced to the music of a live band. Everyone was in a festive mood, except for one person. Evan Carter was a newcomer to Harvestville, having moved there a few months ago from the city. He was a journalist, looking for a fresh start after a messy divorce. He had rented a small cabin on the outskirts of town, hoping to find some peace and quiet. He had also hoped to find some inspiration for his next book, but so far he had only encountered writer's block. He had reluctantly agreed to attend the festival, after being invited by his neighbor, Sarah Jones. Sarah was a friendly and attractive widow, who owned a large farm nearby. She had taken a liking to Evan, and had tried to introduce him to the town's people and culture. Evan felt out of place among the cheerful crowd. He didn't share their enthusiasm for the festival, which he found quaint and boring. He didn't understand why they made such a big deal out of it, or why they insisted on holding it on Halloween night. He thought it was a silly superstition, a relic of the past. He wondered what secrets the town was hiding behind its friendly facade. He decided to take a break from the noise and the crowd, and walked away from the square. He wandered along the dirt road that led to his cabin, enjoying the cool breeze and the starry sky. He passed by several farms, admiring the rows of corn, wheat, and other crops that lined the fields. He thought about how hard the farmers must have worked to grow them, and how proud they must have felt to see them flourish. He felt a pang of envy, wishing he could feel that sense of accomplishment and satisfaction. He stopped at a wooden fence that bordered Sarah's farm. He leaned against it, gazing at her farmhouse in the distance. He could see lights in the windows, and smoke coming from the chimney. He wondered what she was doing, and if she missed him. He felt a surge of attraction for her, mixed with guilt and hesitation. He liked her, but he wasn't sure if he was ready for another relationship. He had been hurt before, and he didn't want to hurt her or himself. He was about to turn back to the festival, when he noticed something strange. The crops in Sarah's field seemed to be moving, as if stirred by a sudden wind. But there was no wind. The movement spread across the field, like a wave. Evan squinted his eyes, trying to see what was causing it. He gasped when he realized what he was seeing. The crops were withering. He watched in horror as the plants shriveled and dried up before his eyes, turning from green to brown in seconds. The field looked like it had been scorched by fire. Evan couldn't believe what he was seeing. How was this possible? What was happening? He heard a scream from behind him. He turned around and saw Sarah running towards him from her farmhouse. She looked terrified and distraught.
Evan! Evan! Help me!
She cried. Evan ran towards her, trying to calm her down.
Sarah! What's wrong? What happened?
She reached him and hugged him tightly.
It's them! They're here! They're coming for us!
She sobbed.
Who? Who's coming?
Evan asked. She looked at him with fear in her eyes.
The harvesters.
Chapter 2, The Harvesters. Evan and Sarah ran back to the town square, hoping to find help and answers. They were shocked by what they saw. The festival was in chaos. People were screaming and running in panic, as dark shapes emerged from the shadows. They looked like twisted versions of scarecrows, made of straw, cloth, and metal. They had glowing red eyes, sharp claws, and wicked scythes. They moved with unnatural speed and agility, slashing and hacking at anyone in their path. They were the harvesters, the ancient entities that haunted the town's legend. Evan and Sarah dodged and ducked as they made their way through the carnage. They saw blood and bodies everywhere, as well as burning lanterns and pumpkins. They heard cries of pain and terror, as well as laughter and taunts from the harvesters.
Happy Harvest Festival.
One of them cackled.
Time to reap what you sow.
Another one sneered.
Your souls are ours.
A third one hissed. Evan and Sarah reached the stage where the band had been playing. They saw the mayor of the town, a portly man named Frank Wilson, standing on a podium. He was holding a microphone and a shotgun. He looked pale and shaken, but determined.
Attention! Attention! Everyone listen to me.
He shouted.
We have to fight back. We have to stop them. We have to end this curse.
He fired his shotgun at a harvester that was approaching him, blowing its head off.
Get to the church. It's the only safe place. Follow me.
He yelled. He jumped off the stage and ran towards the church, which was on the other side of the square. He was followed by a group of brave townsfolk, who also had guns and other weapons. Evan and Sarah joined them, hoping to reach the sanctuary. They fought their way through the horde of harvesters, who seemed to be endless. Evan grabbed a pitchfork from a nearby stall, and stabbed it into a harvester's chest. Sarah picked up a knife from a fallen vendor, and slashed it across a harvester's throat. They stayed close to each other, protecting each other's backs. They reached the church door, which was guarded by two men with rifles. They opened it for them, and let them in. They entered the church, which was filled with people who had escaped the massacre. They looked scared and confused, but also relieved to be alive. They crowded around the mayor, who stood in front of the altar. He put down his shotgun and his microphone, and addressed them.
My fellow citizens,
He began.
I know you are all wondering what is going on. Why are we being attacked by these monsters? Why are our crops dying? Why is this happening to us?
He paused for a moment, then continued.
The truth is, we brought this upon ourselves.
He looked at them with a solemn expression.
We have sinned against God, and against nature.
He took a deep breath, then said.
We have broken the pact.
Chapter 3, The Pact. The crowd gasped and murmured, as the mayor revealed the dark secret of the town.
The pact? What pact?
Someone asked.
The pact we made with the harvesters centuries ago.
The mayor said. He explained that Harvestville was founded by a group of settlers who were looking for fertile land. They found it in this valley, which was rich and abundant. But they soon discovered that the land was not theirs to take. It belonged to the harvesters, who had been living there since ancient times. They were the guardians of the land, and they demanded a tribute from anyone who wanted to use it. The settlers were desperate and afraid, so they agreed to the harvesters' terms. They made a pact with them, a blood oath. Every year, on Halloween night, they would hold a harvest festival, to honor and appease the harvesters. They would offer them a portion of their crops, as well as a human sacrifice. One person from the town would be chosen by lot, and given to the harvesters as a gift. In exchange, the harvesters would leave them alone for the rest of the year, and bless their land with fertility and prosperity. The pact was kept for generations, without question or complaint. The town grew and prospered, thanks to the harvesters' favor. The sacrifice was seen as a necessary evil, a small price to pay for their survival and happiness. The people accepted their fate, and did not resist or rebel. But then, things changed. The mayor admitted that he was the one who broke the pact. He said that he had grown tired of living in fear and guilt, of sacrificing innocent lives to the harvesters. He said that he wanted to end the cycle of violence and oppression, and free the town from their curse. He said that he had a plan, a way to destroy the harvesters once and for all. He said that he had secretly contacted a team of scientists from a nearby city, who specialized in paranormal research. He told them about the harvesters, and asked them for their help. They agreed to come to Harvestville, and bring their equipment and weapons. They planned to ambush the harvesters during the festival, and use their technology to capture and kill them. The mayor said that he had arranged everything with the scientists, and that they were supposed to arrive before the festival began. But they never showed up. He said that he tried to contact them, but he couldn't reach them. He said that he didn't know what happened to them, or why they didn't come. He said that he realized too late that he had made a terrible mistake. He said that he had underestimated the power and intelligence of the harvesters. He said that they must have sensed his betrayal, and decided to punish him and the town for it. He said that they must have sabotaged his communication with the scientists, and prevented them from coming. He said that they must have also caused the crops to wither, as a sign of their wrath. He said that he was sorry for what he had done, and that he took full responsibility for it. He said that he hoped that God would forgive him, and that the people would forgive him too. He looked at them with tears in his eyes.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
He said. The crowd was silent, stunned by his confession. Some looked at him with anger and contempt, others with pity and sympathy. Evan and Sarah looked at each other with shock and disbelief. They didn't know what to think or feel. They didn't have much time to process it either. Because at that moment, the church door burst open. And the harvesters came in.
Leave your thoughts about the stain that won't wash away below. See you tomorrow for day 7 of the 31 days of Halloween scary/spooky stories.